Hi guys, I was supposed to record this yesterday. Can I be really honest why I didn't? Um, I was busy all day yesterday, and then in the night when I normally record this, my hair looked terrible. Actually, I think it looks pretty terrible right now, but it looked worse yesterday because I was tired. I didn't look really good. I wasn't feeling like putting on any makeup. Not that I normally do a lot of makeup, but I do at least put my bindi on and get my eyes done and stuff. So I was tired and lazy and thought I looked really bad and didn't want to appear that way on the video, which is not much of an excuse for not telling you. But the other reason actually is also I know that I have a message and I didn't know what it was that needed to come through this particular video. We had talked about chronic stress in the last video that I sent you, and what my thoughts are, and about some webinars and things that I'm planning, etc. But in the meantime, I wanted to be able to give you something to stand on, right? To help you in the meantime while I come up with all these brilliant ideas. Do you notice how I'm putting myself down there? That's an interesting thing to notice. For me, actually, right now, I'm trying to dismiss what I have to offer, and that is not actually fair because I know I have an enormous amount to offer everyone, and it is instructive for all of us, for you as well as for me, to notice how easily we tend to dismiss ourselves. So I am planning some wonderful things for you. I have got some great speakers who have agreed to come with me on the webinar. But these videos that I'm sending you of myself, just me musing about life in general and about how I deal with chronic stress, and the messages that come to me through my meditations are significant, and I don't want to be recording a video that is just that doesn't feel inspired. So this morning, so I have a routine which starts off with meditation every morning, and in essence, I take some time to relax, and I go in and I essentially meet my team, who for me consists of my favorite Hindu deity, which is Krishna, goddesses in various forms depending on what I'm praying or meditating about, and my mom, my grandma, my dad, my uncles, a lot of people who have passed on, all come into this meditation depending on where I am in the and what I'm meditating about. And so this morning, when I went in, I realized that I was feeling exhausted, actually. And I was feeling exhausted. I was feeling guilty because one of the aspects of chronic stress that has been going on is the fact that our politics in the United States seems to be so messed up right now. And I've been an activist, I've been on the marches, I've been calling up that it has fallen off a little bit. And I've been feeling guilty about that. And just watching the news and just this the healthcare bill, and the fact that people can even think about creating a bill like that and be completely nonchalant about it is frightening, and it's exhausting. And the idea that you have to keep fighting this, and that is actually creating a lot of stress for me. I'm about to my eyes are filling up my throat, voice is breaking, as you can see, because it's, how did we get here? Why did we get here? Was what I went into my meditation with, and the fear that I don't have the strength to be rallying all the time, to be fighting all the time, and and I prayed and I talked to Krishna, and one of the things that came up was, if you are seeing all this hate, if you are seeing all this disconnection, where, if you believe that the world is a mirror, where is the disconnection in you? And that my first instinct was to think that the disconnection is in me with myself, right? Is it that is the lack of love that I'm seeing in the world, is the lack of compassion that I'm seeing in the world a reflection of the lack of compassion I am showing to myself? And I didn't get a lot there. It didn't seem juicy. It didn't seem as if, yeah, that's what you've got to work on. But then I was gently moved with the help of Krishna and with the help of Devi, who Krishna led me to and made me sit in front of of the goddess, which is a reflection of me as well, and she held my hands and we looked, and the answer, as uncomfortable as it is that there is a lot of judgment in me. There is a lot of non-compassion towards the people who have brought this bill. And in a certain sense, there is a part of me that says they deserve it. But if you think about it, the only way to be non-compassionate to people to that degree is to be completely blind to your own divinity. So if people are coming up with these plans that are so heartless and so violent in their intent, really, the only way they can be in a place that allows them to do that is if they are completely blind to themselves and their own divine purpose. They are so taken up with being right and being, and they're also being beholden to their donors. Let's keep it real. They're politicians who have donors who are equally blind and who are equally close to their own divinity and equally not in touch with the compassion that they are capable of. And so that's what creates something like this. It is the absence of divinity, right? And that is something not to be hated, but to be looked upon with compassion. Now, that doesn't mean that you don't fight it. So if you look at the last, there'll be a link to a blog post attached here, which is my which is my last blog post on the Devi Mahatmyam, the grand story of the Divine Mother. And throughout that myth, what is happening is that evil arises and the goddess arises and fights evil and kills the demons that represent evil. But she is never hateful towards them. She always recognizes that they are, in the last episode, she says, there's nothing else other than me. There is nothing in the world that is not divine. And then she tells him, she sort of blesses him as they go into war and says, fight well. And that is a way that for me today became a signpost, a kind of neon light flashing in front of my eyes saying, this is the way you maintain your strength to continue to fight, because hatred takes up a lot of energy. It's impossible to remain powerful if you're also hating. But if you are strong, so if you are, for example, like Devi, like the goddess in the myth, and you're able to be compassionate towards the enemy, in quotes enemy, towards the people who are doing these evil things, and you are able to say, no, this is bad. It's bad not only for the people whom you intend to hurt, but this is also bad for you, because this is a sign that you are not in touch with your own divinity. And if in that fight, as the Devi does, it does result in the killing of their ego, in the killing of their agenda, as long as we are doing it from a place of compassion, as long as we are doing it holding the space for them, for the possibility of them to change, but being determined that we will not just give up and let them roll over us because we are just so tired. And the only reason we are tired is because we are spending our energy hating, or we are spending our energy being afraid, or we are, in essence, if you spend your energy being powerless, which is what hate and anger and judgment and contempt do for us, then we will get exhausted pretty quickly. Then we will not be able to take on the fight to make sure that that the divinity in everybody shows up. So that's what, was I ready at the end of this meditation to send love to everyone? No, but I did actually spend some time thinking about Ryan and thinking about Trump, and sort of trying to go and tell them, look into yourselves. This is not you at your highest. This is not you at exhibiting your highest potential. And then I did some tapping, the emotional freedom technique, where I told myself that I was willing to be compassionate. I don't know that I'm yet in a place where I am compassionate, but I did say I am willing to be compassionate, I am willing to be loving, I am willing to see the highest potential in all of these people whom I have got used to hating, and I am willing to stop the hate that is emanating from me into the world. So think about that. This would apply, I'm talking now in terms of politics and world order and stuff, but this applies as much to us in our ordinary life, right? So if there is a dispute or a long-standing sense of victimhood that is the reason for us to feel the chronic stress, then that is something that we need to pay attention to and get our power back. So I would love to hear your thoughts about this. This turned out to be a really long video, but I think it's so important, this message about how the way to maintain our strength, the way to continue the fight that we absolutely have to in this climate, not only in this country but probably throughout the world, how it is so important for us to come from a place of an open heart and compassion and non-judgment, but strength. So it's not giving up, it is saying, no, not on my watch. but I'm willing to hold the space for you to rise to your highest level. And tell me what you think. And grateful and prayerful that this message came through me today, and I hope you find it inspiring or thought-provoking, moving. I'd love to hear where in that spectrum it fell. Take care. Love you guys.